Hi, and welcome to the Mission Control demo. We're going to take a deep dive look into the key features of the Mission Control project management system today. Um, Mission Control is a native application to Salesforce, so that means it's built on the Salesforce.com platform. What that allows you to do is any custom object that is within Salesforce, you can add custom fields, validation rules, workflow rules, anything you need to over and above what comes in the standard package, just the way you can with any standard object inside your own existing Salesforce system. So what we're looking at here is the project management console. That gives us quick launch access to the key parts of the system. So we'll take a quick walk around, and then we'll jump into a bit of detail in each section. So up in the top left here, what we're looking at is the ability to create a project framework. So the objects in Mission Control are there's a project. That project can have multiple milestones. Each milestone can have multiple actions, and then each action can have multiple time logs sitting underneath it. So what we're able to do here is actually just put in a project name and add in as many milestones as we want. We can also actually choose to clone an existing project, and rather than having to create the whole thing from scratch, so we'll look at that later. Underneath here, we can actually go in and create a new role record. A role record is going to be someone who is an action owner within the project. Now, that role can either link through to a user record of a user in Salesforce or a contact. The reason you can do either is you're able to actually include people that aren't necessarily users of Salesforce. So, for example, if we're working with a third-party designer on a website, we could perhaps assign a role to their contact record, and that way they can have actions assigned to them in Mission Control. They won't be able to get access to the system, but we can obviously account for their time as part of the project. Further down, we're able to log time against particular actions, so we can do that in a number of ways, and we'll take a look at those shortly. The daily digest, so this is where you set the daily digest to come out. So you simply say whether you're wanting that to be active, and you specify a time that it comes out. So the daily digest is an email that goes out to each individual role, and I'll just show you an example here. So this has come out to me. It shows me any new actions that have been assigned to me within the last 24 hours, any pending actions that are due to be completed within the next 24 hours, and then any overdue actions that are still not yet completed and still have hours remaining against them. So that goes out to each individual person on a daily basis at the time you set, and if a particular person doesn't want to receive that, they can unsubscribe to that. So over on the right hand side, we can select a project that's in the system. We can choose to look at the project overview, we can look at the Gantt chart, or we can look at the scheduler. So we'll take a look at each one of those in a bit more detail. And obviously, in a perfect world, we would want to, everything would run on time, but we all know we don't live there. So what we're looking at here is the ability to select an existing project and reschedule that. So that might be that the client's pulled it forward, so we need to move all the dates forward, or we need to push them back. So you're able to do that en masse for a particular project. And then the whiteboard is is where all the actions across all projects are displayed on a virtual whiteboard as individual sticky notes, and we can drag and drop them to move their progress. Finally, on the bottom right here, what we're looking at is just the ability to, there's a lot of process automation that we've put into into Mission Control. So, for example, if we update an action from planned to in progress, that will go up and update the parent milestone. And likewise, once a milestone is set to in progress, it would go up and update the status on the project. So you can disable any one of these features that you want just by ticking these checkboxes. Okay, so what we're going to do is just jump in and create a new project. So what I'm doing is just putting in the project name, and I'm going to have 3 milestones on my project. So just clicking on the add row button there to add in additional milestones. So what I'm going to do is create a project and 3 milestones relating to that project, one for design, one for build, and one for training. So when I click on create there, that's going to go away and create all 4 of those records, and it will return me onto the edit page of the project where I can add in some more details. So I can calculate the costs of the project in one of 2 ways. I can use the standard rate, and I can say, regardless of who's working on this project, we're all going to be billed out at the same day rate. Or I can choose to use the role-based rate. So that might be if I'm actually if I'm working on the projects and I'm logging an hour, it might be that I'm billed out at $50 an hour, but someone else might be billed out at $75 an hour, and that hourly rate is taken from each person's role record. So you're able to get a more accurate reflection on costs if you've got people working on the project at different levels within the business. So for this example, I'm just going to use the standard one. I can put in a description. And I can nominate my day rate. So I'm saying that we're all going to be billed out at $1,000 a day, and there's a budget of $5,000. So I can look up a particular role who is going to be the overall owner. I can link this through to any account in the system. I can link it through to a particular contact within that company, and if I want to, I can link through to an opportunity as well. So I can nominate a color that will be used throughout the system when displaying the actions on this project. So if I say I'm going to have blue, later on after the project's complete, I can come along and archive that project, and it would actually be removed from certain pick lists within the system. And finally, if we're running an internal project, we might want to obviously account for people's time within their overall capacity. But what we're able to do is specify that it's a non-billable project. Okay, so I've got my project all set up now. So I'm now just on the standard Salesforce detail page. If I scroll down, I can see the 3 milestones that I created earlier. So now I need to build out my actions, and the easiest way to do that is via the Create Actions button that we've put onto the project page. So if I click on that, that will open up a custom form that allows me to build as many actions as I need. So it starts off with 1, and I'm able to then just add in as many rows as I need. So I'm going to put 6 actions on this project, and I'm just going to quickly put them together. So what I've done here is I've specified that there's an action for design wireframes. It links to the parent milestone record for design. I'm nominating who the owner is, what the status is, how many hours have been scheduled, the start and end dates, and any notes that I wanted to. I could also choose to. So this will create this will create an action in the action object within Mission Control. But I could also choose to actually click on the task or the event checkbox if I wanted to create a related standard Salesforce task or event. So for example, when it comes down to delivering the training on this, I might choose to actually make that an event so it can go into my calendar as well. I can also choose to notify somebody. So if everybody would receive their daily digest anyway, but for example, we have our digest come out at 6 o'clock in the morning. So it's now 8:30. If I'm looking to notify this person straight away that they need to be working on this project, I don't want to wait until tomorrow morning. So if I tick on that notify box, when I save the record, it will automatically send them an email as well. So I'm just going to quickly go through and create the other actions. So as I say, if I'm putting in something here that means I'm out on site with a client, I might want to have that as an event, and that would automatically go through as into my calendar as well. So I'm going to go ahead and create these actions. It's going to create all 6 actions relating to these relevant milestones. So that's just giving me an error there because I'm specifying that I want to start an event. I want to create an event as well. I actually need to nominate a start time on the record. So I'm just going to say I'm doing that at 10 o'clock. So they've now all been they've now all successfully been created. So what I can do is jump back onto the console, and we will have our demo website build project in the list here on the right hand side. So I can then choose to view the project. So the project overview allows me to pull together onto one page all of the different objects. So what we're looking at here is the record for the project. So you can see all of the information that we've put in at the start. So we can see the project name, the status, the start and end dates, the client that it relates to, the costs relating to the budget, how many hours have been allocated based on the day rate, and how many hours have been scheduled. So if I scroll down, I'll come to the Gantt chart, which I'll come back to in a moment. Carrying on down the page, I can see the milestones, and I can see all of the actions relating to each individual milestone. So we had our design milestone, and we've got our 2 actions relating to that. So you can see here the action name, the owner, the status, when they're due to start and finish, how many hours are scheduled, completed, and remaining. So you can see at the milestone level that the information from the actions roll up. So the start date on the milestone is the earliest of the 2 start dates on the actions, and the end date of the milestone is the latest of the end dates on the actions. Likewise, the hours scheduled is 12, which is a summary of the hours scheduled of all of the actions. So I can carry on down, and I can see the additional milestones and actions, and then any risks that I might have put in. So if I now just go in and actually click through and create a risk, so I can do that from the standard project page just by clicking on the new risk button. That will allow me to put in details of a risk that the client's just told me about. So they're concerned about the budget. We're identified about it today. So I can also link it through to a specific milestone or action if it's relevant. In this case, it's just about the overall project. I can flag the current status, and then I can categorize the risk. So what does it relate to? So in this instance, I'm going to say it's a financial risk. The impact, what impact would that have on the project if it was to come to fruition? So obviously it would be high impact. The probability is medium, and proximity, we're going to find out in the short term whether that happens or not. And then what areas of the project might it actually relate to impact. So I can say, okay, well, it's going to impact time, cost, quality, scope. And what would my countermeasure be? So I could choose a reduction countermeasure and agree with the client to reduce the scope. So I've now created my risk, and just going back to the project overview, if I just refresh that page, that will allow me to see that risk in context with the entire project. So if I just scroll down to the bottom there, we've got the risks showing up on that page as well. So looking at the Gantt chart, what we're able to do is it's interactive to where we can actually extend things. So I can extend the duration of something. I can double click into it and add in more hours if I need to. I can reassign to somebody else. I can also choose to create dependencies from here. So if I drag on the circle on the right hand side of the parent action and just drag that down to the left hand side of the child action, that immediately adds in a dependency. So if I save that project now and create that dependency, when I actually reschedule the parent, the child action will also reschedule as well. So I can create as many dependencies as I need, and I can reschedule as and when I need as well. I can also choose to export that as a PDF. So if I click on that export PDF button, that allows me to open up the Gantt chart in a PDF form that I can then save locally and distribute to a client, for example. Okay, so Mission Control also integrates with Chatter. And what we do is, even in our short example here, we've created a project, we've created 3 milestones, and we've created 6 actions. So to stay across that project, we might want to, we wouldn't want to have to follow those 10 records individually. So we've got a Chatter feed roll up. So anything that happens on the action will roll up to the milestone, and anything that happens on the milestone will roll up to the parent project. So all I need to do is actually follow the project record, and any Chatter feed that is put onto any of the child records will automatically roll up to the project. So I can follow this record and keep up to date with everything. I can also use this as a collaboration tool with the project team. Okay, so now that we've got our project in place, what we need to do is start working on it. So we'll obviously go away, be working on actions, and we want to come back and report that progress in Mission Control. So we can do that in a number of ways. We can use the log time, the timesheets, and we can also look at the whiteboard. So if I just jump into the whiteboard now, what that allows me to do is see all of the actions across all of the projects as individual sticky notes on a virtual whiteboard. So as you can see, it can get quite busy. But what I'm able to do is actually filter this down to look at a specific project. I could also filter it down to show me a particular team. So a team is a collection of people who have a role record, or I can look at a particular role instead. So I'm just going to I'm just going to look at the project that we've been working on. So that shows me my 6 actions. What it shows me is the person that's responsible for the action name. I can click through to that if I want to. I can click through to the milestone, the project. It shows me the start and end dates, the hours that are scheduled, and the hours that are completed. So first of all, what I would do is actually move that along to in progress. And what I'm able to, what that will do is actually update the status of that action on the underlying record. So if I just jump back into the project overview as well. If I look at that project, we'll just see there that the action has now changed to in progress. The red indicator around the start date has now been removed because we're now underway with the action. And you can see at the milestone level, it's automatically updated that to in progress, and at the project level as well, it's updated that to in progress. So back on the whiteboard, if I click on the log time icon down in the bottom right, that will open up a little dialog box that actually allows me to log some time against this action. So I'm just putting in 2 hours. I'm saying I've done that today, and I'm just giving a description of what that is. So I log that time. That automatically goes in against the hours completed. And again, if I just refresh the project overview page, I'll be able to then look at the hours completed, and then that rolls. You can see there that I've got my 8 hours scheduled. I've got my 2 hours completed, and based on that, there are 6 hours remaining. And that all rolls up to the milestone, and likewise, it rolls up to the project as well. So what I'm also able to do from the Mission Control console is I can actually use the timesheet. So if I was wanting to log time, so the timesheet will preload all of the actions that are assigned to me within this week. If I've got the manage timesheets permission on my role record, I could also look at somebody else's timesheet as well. If there's something I'm working on that isn't already preloaded, I can easily add that on here as well. So looking at our example, you can see here that we've already got our 2 hours that we've just logged. So if I click on the icon next to that, it will allow me to see the details of that. So I can come along and add some more time in there and say, okay, well, I've just done another 2 hours and I've finalized work and sent to client for approval. I might also at the same time say I've been working on another project, I've done that. So you can see here that my totals are being added up for the day and for the week. So again, just looking at that, so if I was to now say, okay, well, the client's just come back, I've just had a meeting with the client. So we got approval on our wireframe, so I can now mark that as completed and save the timesheet again. So just to show you, it obviously all links through. They're all just displaying the same record. So if I just filter the project whiteboard again, you'll see that our action is now no longer in the in progress column, it's moved over to the complete column. Likewise on the project overview page, you'll see that the status has been changed to complete. It's now green. All of the indicators have gone. And you can see now as well that the hours completed are 5. Even though the hours scheduled were 8, we managed to bring it in under that scheduled time. So therefore there are no hours remaining. So when we roll up to the project and start looking at the hours remaining and hours forecast, so while we scheduled 36 hours for the overall project, based on being ahead on that action, we're now forecast to come in at 33 hours, which over on the right hand side here shows us our total project costs forecast is actually below the value for the scheduled. So we're able to track the financials of the project all the way through. Okay, so we can also log time via another form. So this might be if we were wanting to log time for multiple people at the same time. So as an example, we can go along and pull in a project, select a milestone, select an action, and that will show me that this action is in progress and it's 1.5 hours have been logged already. Now, if I'm not sure whether those hours are what I'm trying to log now, I can just click on that link. That will show me a summary down here of what has already been added in. So I can say, no, that's not what I was logging now, so I'm going to log another 2 hours. It's for today, and I can put in some notes and any costs as well. I could also set that to complete if I wanted to. So I could also add in additional time logs as well. So at this stage, this hasn't started, so I'm just going to say I'm logging an hour and I'm moving that to in progress. So I click on submit time, that will go through and log those 2 records against those relevant actions. So what I've also got is the ability to look at the scheduler. Just before I look at the scheduler, I'm just going to create a new role just to explain how that works. So if we click on create new role, it allows us to actually link the role to either a user or a contact. So I'm going to choose a contact in this instance, and I'm going to look up a contact that I already have in my system. So I can specify whether they're active. Being active will mean they're available for selection on the create actions form, on the whiteboard, on the scheduler. I can also put in an hourly rate that they'll be working on, and I can specify how many hours they are available per week, whether they want to receive the digest, and whether they can manage timesheets. So I can also assign them to teams. So I could make Mick part of the marketing team. I could make him a part of the consultants team as well. Now, these are predefined teams that I've created. Likewise, we can maintain a skills matrix for this person as well. So I can say, well, I know Mick has a skill of HTML code. I can say whether that's still an active skill, and I can rate his proficiency in that. So it might be that he has a certification as well. So I can look up that, and I can specify again his proficiency, and I might even want to actually put in when that expires. So it might be that we could manually put in a workflow rule to remind us when any certifications are due to expire. Okay, so I've now got Mick available in the system, ready to be assigned actions to. So looking at the scheduler, I can click on the View Scheduler button there from the console. That preloads a 2-week window starting from today. So we're looking at 2 weeks. We can see when the weekends are, and we can see everybody in the team here, and we can see how many hours they have available to them. So we're looking at a 2-week window. So this means I'm available 32 hours per week, so 64 over the 2 weeks. And so far I've got 44 of those 64 hours allocated. So if I want to actually allocate some of those to someone else, I could actually move those across and just drag them, literally drag them and drop them onto someone else's schedule. So you can see there my hours has gone down to 36, and Mick's has gone up to 80. So I'm able to do a number of things. I'm able to look at the team schedule. I can also choose to reschedule things on particular projects. As I say, I can reschedule them to other people. I can extend the duration. I can also choose to move back in time or forward in time to look at the schedule of what people have got on their plate. So I'm also able to actually look at I can see there that I was on annual leave, so there's no point assigning any actions to me there. So I can jump back to today at any point in time as well. So I can also look at, I could say, right, I want to reassign some of the actions from Colin. So I know he's on the consultants team. So just filter the list of people to only show me people that are in the consultants team. So then I can say, well, actually, I only want to see people that have got HTML skills. And it might be that I only want to see people who have got a particular certification. So that will just filter down accordingly, and what I'm able to do then is actually assign to a relevant person, knowing that they're in the same team, they've got the same skills that we need in order to deliver those actions. And what I'll show you now is just the ability to reschedule a project. So if we click on a project, click on reschedule, well, what that allows us to do is just specify whether we're going to be. So if I want to move it forward, I could be doing it in a negative, or I could say, right, I'm going to delay this project by 7 days. I want to reschedule all milestones, and regardless of the status, I'm going to reschedule everything. So if I click on that reschedule, that's going to move all of the actions dates forward by 7 days, and it just gives me confirmation there that 8 records have been rescheduled. What I'm also able to do here, and another way of logging time, is by the sidebar component here. So what I'm able to do is actually select a project. I'm also able to select a milestone, and I'm able to select the action as well. So I can use this sliding scale just to go in and put in how many hours I've done, put in some notes and save that. That just gives me confirmation that that's been saved and that's now logged in. Likewise, on Salesforce 1, if I just quickly show you there, we also have the time logger form available from Salesforce 1. So obviously, as I mentioned at the beginning of the demo, Mission Control is native to Salesforce, so that means everything is accessible on Salesforce One, and we've also built the custom time logger page for Salesforce One. So when that loads up, I'll be able to log time, and I'll be able, exactly the way I've just done it there. So I'm able to specify my role, look at my project. Again, just filters down to the milestones, and then filters the actions down. And then I can just save that. So that allows me to do all of that mobile while I'm out in the field as well. And again, finally, with being native, we can create any just using the standard Salesforce reports and dashboards, we can create any reports that we need. Mission Control does provide some out-of-the-box reports and dashboards, but you could certainly create as many as you require as well. But that's the end of the demo. And if you do want to, we offer a 14-day trial, and you're able to install that directly into your production org or your sandbox straight from the App Exchange. So if you just go to the App Exchange, search for Mission Control, you'll see it come up. And you're able to click the Get It Now button, and that will install it directly into your system. Okay, thank you for your time, and if you have any questions, you can email us at enquiries@aprica.com.au. Thank you.